Welcome to Let's Learn here on the NCW Life channel. My name is Eric Granstrom, your host, and I am pleased to be joined by Jeff Neher with Cordell Neher & Company today on our continuing series of tax tips as we get ready for the tax season. Jeff, welcome back once again. Thank you for taking the time, and thanks to the rest of the crew at Cordell Neher for coming in and giving us the inside scoop.
Yeah, we're happy to do this. This is great. Getting a little information to all of your watchers and see how they can maybe pick up an item or two that can help them.
Well, we've got various topics that we're covering, and today you wanted to talk about retirement and planning for the retirement and maybe some benefits we can get on our taxes from having that retirement plan, correct?
Yes, exactly. Yeah, we're going to talk a little bit today about why when, we all kind of have a feeling why we might want to save for retirement because, quite frankly, Social Security is not going to probably be enough for most people. And so we need to put some money away, and a lot of us have 401k plans or 403b plans or 457 plans available at work to be able to save money for that retirement. And a lot of times our employers will actually match part of our contributions. So it's very important if one has the cash available to do it, to be able to contribute enough into your employer's plan so that you get that maximum match that the employer is willing to put in. So if the employer is willing to match the first 3% or 6% of your salary, then you got to be thinking, can I come some way to be able to get that extra amount in there so I can get that maximum amount? Because that's just like free money. And no matter what the rate of return is on your investment, it really doesn't make as much difference if you're getting that match.
Now, on the front end, people might say, okay, well, that's good for me down the road. Now, how does that benefit me now as far as my taxes are concerned?
That's the extra piece, because the government actually wanted to incentivize you to do this. And so in the incentivizing you to do this, they're going to give you a tax reduction for a traditional contribution to one of these retirement plans up front. So they're going to actually reduce your taxable income dollar for every dollar that you're putting into one of these plans.
Okay.
So if you elect to put $1,000 into your 401k plan, your taxable income will be $1,000 less. So your W-2 will already take that deduction into account, reducing your income and basically saving you the tax rate, your tax rate on that amount. So if you're in the 15% bracket, you saved 15 cents every dollar that went into retirement from paying tax. If you're into the 25% bracket, it's a 25%, 25 cents on every dollar. So there's an incentive for you to be able to make this contribution. Now there are limits, however.
Okay, now I was going to ask you, you mentioned a word there, traditional.
Right.
So is that kind of referencing what you're going for next?
Well, let's talk about that. That's probably even a better place to go first.
Yeah.
If we have a traditional contribution, we get a deduction today, and later on, when we take the money out, we're going to pay tax on all the amounts we take out. So all of the contribution we made, plus all the income that's made on that, the employer's match, all the pieces that come into this, we're going to be taxed on all those distributions in retirement. Now, hopefully, that's going to be okay because we're either going to be in a lower tax bracket in retirement, or we needed that retirement savings so we can actually, because of the tax savings, we can actually contribute more and build up a larger deduction. However, there's an extra provision in many retirement plans called a Roth provision, R-O-T-H, Roth provision. That Roth provision says instead of getting an immediate benefit today, a tax deduction today, I'll forego the tax deduction today. In exchange, when I take the money out later on in retirement, I pay no income tax, not only on the contribution I made, but also on all of the income that's earned from now until I actually retire. So the younger you are, the more advantage there is in this accumulation of tax-free income that you will never pay tax on. As you're getting older, like some of us, you may not have as much time to be able to get the benefits of the Roth contribution. However, sometimes it's kind of nice to have, in retirement, have two types of money. Money that is spread out equally that I spend, and then lumpy sum money. Money that maybe I can use for by replacing my vehicles or that emergency that happens. Something that is outside the normal monthly expenses that I have. And the Roth can actually provide me some nice distribution of lumpy sum money. Okay? So some combination of taxable and non-taxable is great. Now the employer, when they match your contribution to the Roth contribution, that's still going to be taxable to you coming out because you didn't pay any tax on the employer's contribution.
Okay.
Okay?
So it's still money coming to you.
Still money coming to you.
Gotcha.
Still going to be your money, but that part's going to be taxable. So you are actually getting two buckets when you
Okay.
have a retirement plan, right? You're
Okay.
getting a taxable bucket and a non-taxable bucket. You spread the taxable bucket evenly in retirement, and the non-taxable bucket you can take out in one piece pieces.
Okay.
Okay?
Gotcha. Gotcha.
So that's kind of how that works. Now there are limitations on how much you can contribute. A lot of people say, "Oh yeah, well, big deal. The limit's big," and that's true. For a simple IRA, the limit is $12,500 currently. So you can't contribute more than that. If you have a 401k, a 403b plan, a 457 plan, deferred comp plan, those amounts are $18,000. And if you're over 50, like I am, I can do an extra $6,000. So $18,000 plus 6, $24,000 per year. Now, of course, you have to have the money, but if you have the money, you get a nice big tax deduction, okay? Tax deferral. And you can actually, in a 401k plan, you can, if it has a Roth provision, you can make that $18,000 contribution all to Roth, okay? Now, when I talk about IRAs in a minute, you'll see that that's a much smaller limit.
Okay.
Okay. The employer then matches whatever the employer happens to contribute to my plan. They have their own limits to what they can do, but I can't control that. I can just control what I save for my own retirement.
Okay.
And so this makes it a nice thing. There are employees out there that are working for the government, state, city, municipalities, PQDs. They all have pension amounts, but they also have deferred comp programs, so they can get a combination of their pension income and then fill the gaps with this extra retirement amounts that they'll get through their deferred comp programs.
So it sounds to me like a good conversation to have would be with your accountant on making your plans for your investments, probably before you even talk to your investment counselor on doing that.
Yeah, you want to see what's is this going to be an advantage to me to be able to get a tax deduction now? What's my tax going to be? If I were able to come up with this much money, what's my tax bill going to look like? If I was to actually make a larger contribution and get a tax deduction for it, can I still end up with the same cash flow that I'm planning on having that I need to be able to spend monthly? So all those discussions are a lot of things that one would do with their accountant ahead of time.
We're planning for down the road, but we're having to pay for some of that today. We're going to find out how we can pay less for that with Jeff Neher as we continue with our Let's Learn program here and Tax Tips with Cordell Neher and Company. We'll take a break and come back here next on the NCW Life Channel.